The one I do want to say, though, I want to talk about the apartment you brought up of where I used to live with my mom.
Oh, yeah.
Because that one also, just
gosh.
like the house she used to live in, this apartment that I used to live with my mom also was very negative, I feel like. Again, I never felt anything. I never felt scared in that apartment.
I always feel scared in that apartment.
I never saw anything. I never heard. And I stayed there by myself a lot. That's the time where my mom was dating this one guy, and they would go out a lot at night because he worked all day. And so the only free time he had was late at night. So my mom would go out a lot, and I was there by myself a lot, like during the night. I never felt uneasy. I never felt scared. But anyway, I did kind of experience something in that one, but till this day, I'm not too sure if it was that or if it was kind of like kids playing a prank on us. But nonetheless, like the dots don't add up, you know, for it to be like a kid playing a prank. So the way that apartment was, it was a 2-bedroom apartment. Really, the 2 bedrooms were on opposite sides of the apartment, and in the middle were the kitchen and the living room. And I had the master bedroom because, you know, diva. No, just kidding. Because I've always liked bigger spaces, and my mom has never cared, and she has a lot less stuff than me. I have a lot of shit, so it just made sense that I had the bigger room, because my stuff, actually, I don't even think it would have fit in the smaller room.
Yeah, probably not.
My mom is a minimalist, and I'm over having but anyway, so I had the main room, and the way that was set up, it was like a really big room, and then it was like a tiny little hallway, and then you went into it was like a square area where it had a vanity. So it had like a little built-in desk and a mirror. And then behind that was those like sliding door closets.
Yeah.
And the sliding doors were also big ass mirrors. And it was like a L.
Yeah.
And then right next to that was the door to the restroom. Like the restroom was connected to the bedroom, like most main rooms have. And so that area that had the vanity set up, I would spend a lot of time there, because at the time I would do my makeup a lot. I would do my hair a lot. And even if I wasn't doing that, I would just sit in the little vanity area with my chair, and I would color, I would draw, I would just scroll through social media. Like, that was just my little spot to be. I loved it. And again, I never felt scared. I never felt any sort of presence. I never experienced anything like that. Never heard anything, never saw anything. Like, nada. But I was always there. And I remember one time, everything started when Ellie went over to my house to get ready for prom. So she went over to...
Bro, there's just this thing that I just bring out.
She just brings out the energy, man.
Because also whenever I went to my friend's house, they never experienced anything until I got there. But... going back to your story.
So you're the problem.
Maybe.
But yeah, so Ellie came over because my house was closer to where her prom was going to be held, as opposed to like her house.
Yeah.
And so she came over to my house, was getting ready, and her sister was doing her makeup. And then her sister's friend ended up coming over. I don't remember for what, because she didn't do your hair, she didn't do your makeup. She just ended up coming over.
Yeah.
I don't remember the reason. And that was Ellie's sister's friend. So she comes over. We're doing Ellie's makeup, I think, first over in my mom's room.
Yeah.
And then, because the lighting was the best there. And then we're done with that. And then we go over to my room, because I think I was fixing your hair. Something like that. We come over, and like I said, the living room is what's in the middle between the two rooms. So we had to walk across the living room to get to my room. So we all go, la 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 la, me, Ellie, Ellie's sister, Ellie's friend. And I think my mom was in there.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Because I think she was working. I think she was like in and out. Because in the picture, she's in like work clothes. So we go over to my room. I'm just finishing up Ellie. We do her hair. We help her change into her dress. And then we're done with that. So we come out of my room and kind of into the living room area. So we come out of my room. We are standing there just talking. And then out of the fucking blue, Ellie's sister's friend goes, "Oh, what happened to the little boy? Like, where did he go?" I'm sorry, what? We all look at each other and we're like, "What little boy?" You know? Because at first I didn't get scared or nothing. I was just kind of like
I think she was leaving. She was trying to say bye to everybody. She wanted to make sure that she said bye to him too.
Oh, I don't know what it was, but she was like, yeah, like, where is he? And we were like, there's no little boy here. Like, at the time, I didn't have my son because this was a long time ago. There was no kids there. Like, there's no way, like, maybe it was my son and maybe he just left. No possible child could have been there.
Like, he wasn't in the picture yet.
No, this was like 2 years before I was even pregnant. But anyway, so we were like, there's no kid here. Like, what are you talking about? She's like, I saw a little boy. She said he was sitting right in front of our TV, crisscross applesauce on the floor, watching TV. Like,
was the TV even on?
I don't think so,
bro.
But that's what she remember. She said he was sitting crisscross applesauce watching TV.
Yeah,
and we were like, well, there's no little boy, so. And she also tried to play it off. Oh, I probably just like, was walking too fast and like just saw it in the corner of my eye.
Yeah,
we were like, okay. So it all started with that.
Oh, that was the very first time?
Yes.
For real?
Yes.
Dang.
It all started with that as far as like little boy. Anything. Okay. So that happened. And then I think the following week, right? It happened like almost right after that where I got the note. Do you remember the timeline?
No, I don't remember the timeline.
Well, not too long after that happened. It's just so weird. I was coming out of my house and I opened the front door and there was a note on the floor. So I was like, okay. Picked it up and I read it and it said, why are you always sitting in my spot? That makes me so sad, with the sad face. Like ... sad face. And the handwriting looked like it was a little kid. Like, you can tell when it's a little kid as opposed to a grown adult with like bad handwriting. Right. It was a kid handwriting. And in those apartments, there were a lot of kids that lived there, and there were a lot of kids that actually played outside. And pretty much everybody in the apartment complex knew my mom because she was the housekeeper, and the complex was very small. So they all knew who she was, and they all knew where she lived. So honestly, at the time, I thought it was one of the kids that were always outside playing, like just trying to like play a prank or something. But then I remember, I didn't put two and two together. And then I remember it wasn't until I told you about it. I think I had sent you a picture. I was like, look how weird this is. You were the one that was like putting two and two together. Basically, like,
it was a little kid.
It was a little kid that the friend had seen. I'm always sitting in that spot. I don't know. It was just really weird. Yeah.
And then I remember you telling me that your baby daddy had actually seen.
Yeah. So then fast forward years later, I now have my son. We're still living in that apartment. I have my son. My son's dad moves in with us, and I'm still in the same room. And the way we have it set up now, we have the bed, and then we have my son's crib to the right of the bed, and his crib is completely on the wall, like next to the wall. And this was already after my son's dad had been having a lot of sleep paralysis. And so this was another day where he had a sleep paralysis, and he told me the next day that he had opened his eyes and there was a little boy standing between our bed and the crib, and he was looking straight into the crib.
That's so...
Looking at my son.
That's so creepy.
Tell me why, as soon as he told me that, it pissed me off. Like, instead of me being scared and being like, oh my God, I got mad. I was like, absolutely not. Because by this time, my son's dad had already experienced a lot of really scary stuff in that apartment. So I was like, if they're messing with you, like, whatever. Like, don't even get near my child. And so I remember when he told me, I was just like, hell no. Like, are you serious? I do remember getting a little spooked because anything paranormal always like gives me the heebie-jeebies. But more than anything, I got mad. And the next day, the same thing like your dad did, just out loud. I was like, look, I don't know who you are and I don't know what your intentions are, but don't ever get near my son again. Don't look at him. Don't breathe in the direction of him. Get away from my son. Don't ever do that again. I mean, like I said, I never experienced anything, so I never saw anything, period. But my son's dad did say that he never saw that again.
Damn. That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, because that pissed me off. I was just like, I don't care who you are. Because even if it's something good, I don't know. I'm just like, because he was a newborn. Like, he was probably like 2 weeks old. I was just like, don't get near my baby. Like, that is my baby. And he is like fresh out my womb. Of course, I went like mama bear on it, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't care if I can't see you, hear you. Like, get away from my boy. That's my baby. And yeah, that was a little extra that added to just a little boy.
Yeah.
And my son's dad did say that he didn't really perceive it as like scary or evil or dark, but nonetheless it was creepy.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, for him more so because he saw it. Like I said, for me it was more of a, I went into full protection mode, and it was just like, get away from my child. But yeah, that was another thing that happened as far as like little boy. A lot would happen that I think had to do with an older gentleman, because Ellie was always scared of my mom's room. Like I said, it was in the opposite side of the apartment of where I slept. My mom experienced some heavy shit, like heavy shit in that room, to where, like I said, my son's dad lived with us. She came into our room because she could not sleep in her room because of how scared she was 3 different times. And 2 of those were back to back. It was one night and then the next night.
I'm scared just even thinking about it.
I get the heebie-jeebies when I think of that particular one. This specific time that happened, she was in her room, and she only, like I said, she's like super minimalist, so she only had a mattress on the floor. No bed frame, no nothing, just the mattress, you know, your sheets and stuff. And she said that she was laying down, getting ready to go to sleep, and that she felt, you know, like when someone lays next to you, you can feel como el mattress se sume, like you feel the pressure. So she said that she felt somebody laying down next to her, not sitting, but like laying down. She could feel the whole figure. And so, like, she has also already experienced those, so she, I guess, just try to like not think too much of it, not get too scared. And I think she was praying in her head. And she said that once that figure, whatever, laid down next to her, she felt like if they big spooned her. So they laid down and put a leg and an arm on top of her. Hell no. And she said that it felt so heavy.
Dude, and then the part right after.
Yeah, so then she gets so scared that she gets up because she cannot. She gets up, and she, right next to her door, she had, I think, un cuadro de either Jesus or la Virgen, some sort of religious frame. She had it on like the wall, hung up, and she had a rosary around it. So she gets up, she goes to the rosary, like to the picture and to the rosary to try to pray, like right in front of it. She says that she also cannot get the words out. She cannot even think of the words of any prayer. And that all the hairs in the back of her neck just all stand up. And then right next to her ear, but she can tell it's coming from behind her. So it's like right next to her, but behind her, she just hears this nasty ass growl. Just like,
oh my God.
And every hair on her body, she said that it just stands up. But specifically the ones right behind her neck.
Bro, my heart's beating so fast right now.
Yeah, and she says that, I want to say that is the scariest thing she has ever felt, because she, I mean, obviously all that is scary within itself, but if you have ever had any paranormal happen to you, you know there's levels to it.
Yeah.
Like there's certain things that, yeah, you know it's not meant to happen, but you're like, okay, it's not that scary. And there's others that you feel so fucking scared, but you can't even explain why. So she said that she felt so fucking scared, she couldn't even be in that room. So she left, went over to us, and she was like, I can't be in there. Can I sleep here? Like, I'll sleep on the floor. It's fine. But like, can I be in here? Of course, we were like, yeah, like, ¿qué pasó? And I want to say she didn't even tell us that night. She was like, I just don't even want to talk about it. And we're like, are you okay though? She's like, yeah, I'm fine. But like, you know, we were like, yeah, no, that's fine. She didn't tell us, I think, till the next morning, because she couldn't even talk about it.
That's a wild, dude.
And that happened twice. I don't think like exactly like that, but again, and then the next day, I can't remember what happened the next day. She went back into the room. She was like, I'm so sorry, guys, but I cannot be in there again.
Oh my God.
And for my mom to do that, like I said, she's experienced shit before. So it's not common for her to just be like, I can't even deal with it. Like, let me go with somebody. Like, she'll just pray and pray and pray and pray. And eventually, like, she'll calm down. She said that she couldn't even pray. And if you know my mom, like, prayer is everything to her. She prays all the time. Like, she knows all those prayers, like, the back of her hand. And she said she couldn't even think of one. Not in her head, not out loud. And yeah, I remember she just grabbed her rosary because it was wrapped around her hand. And I think she did that so she could get the courage to leave the room, because she couldn't even leave the room because she was so scared. And then she finally left the room and went to go sleep with us. Another thing that happened in that room, basically in that apartment, one time I was asleep in my room with my son. And so my son's dad had come out into the living room because he was right awake. So I think he was watching like something on his phone, and he didn't want to make noise for us. So he had come out into the living room, and he was sitting down on the couch. And the couch we had, I don't know if you remember, a green one. It was just a one sitter. And he was sitting on it. And the way we had it, it was like right next to the hallway. So if you like peeked your head over a little bit, you could see straight almost into like the front door.
Okay.
And he said that he was sitting down and that he heard these like heavy ass footsteps that he could tell was coming from a man, but like almost like if it was a giant, that they were so heavy, and that he could hear them like moving, that he could hear how it started from my mom's room, go into the hallway like slowly, and how they were about to get like to the side where he could peek at. And so he said that he peeked to see if he could see anything, and then it stopped. And so he was like, okay, what, like, of course, like trying to play it off, like whatever. Went back to his phone, heard it again. And he's like, nah, fuck that shit. And I think he went back into the room.
Oh, hell no, bro. And
he said that he felt so scared. But he was like, nah, they were heavy footsteps. And I was just like, well, again, that sucks for y'all. But I have never. And those were like the people I was living with. And even people we didn't live with, like you, like heard shit, saw shit.
Yeah.
Not once.
Yeah, because I remember whenever y'all first moved in there, this is way before the prom thing. You and your mom, y'all were giving us a tour of like the apartment, and we went into your mom's room, and she was showing us everything, and like, again, like how you said, it was just her mattress, like there's nothing else in there. And then she was showing us like the closet and whatnot. And I remember I did not want to be the last one walking out of that room. Why? I have no idea.
You were just like scared.
Yeah. And there was no reason for me to be scared. I'm like, I wasn't even the only one in there.
Right. You know, and it was broad daylight. It's not like it was dark or.
Yeah. But I just did not want to be the last one in there.
So you just like sensed something you just didn't know, like, why or what.
Yeah. Like during that time, I hadn't even known, or like I wasn't really in touch with myself like that. That I'd be able to distinguish those feelings,
like why you're scared.
Yeah. And so like I just didn't think anything of it until everything else started happening, and I'm like, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
And
when we would tell people about that, my mom, like I said, was the housekeeper for those apartments. So I believe one time she started telling the maintenance guy, because they were close friends, kind of like what was going on. And he suggested that what he thought it could possibly be was that there was an older couple that lived there, like old couple, and the guy was dying. I think he had some some health issues. And basically like they knew he was a goner, but he didn't want to spend his last moments in a like hospice or a hospital. Yeah. He was like very, very adamant that he wanted to stay in that apartment. Like he was very attached to that apartment. And like he kept telling everyone, I am not leaving this apartment. And so, you know, it's kind of a known fact that when people are like that, when they pass, their spirit lingers on in that place because they're literally like possessive of it.
Right.
So what a theory that me and Ellie kind of have come up with is that we think that obviously like he was possessive of that apartment, and he really did not like the fact that we came in there because they see it as you're taking what's mine,
like an invasion of their space.
Right. And a lot of the times they get angry, and so we think it was that old man who was just angry that we invaded his space. And then as far as a little boy, I don't know, but I do know there's a little boy attached to that apartment as well.
I have no idea.
But that one, I
Didn't
never.
little boy die in the little lake behind?
Oh yeah. So those apartments had a lake right behind it, man-made, and towards the middle there was this, I guess, filter. They called it a remolino because it would like spin, and it sucks water, goes through the filtration system, and then it would come back out on like the front side of the apartments. And I believe there was like 2 or 3 people that have drowned in there because they tried to swim from one side of the lake to the other, and there's so many signs everywhere posted around that lake that says do not swim, because there's quite a few filters that will suck you in. Like, they're strong, you cannot swim against it.
Yeah.
And I want to say one of them was a little boy.
Dang,
but it was like far. It was like, because those remolinos were on the other side of where we were.
Okay.
I mean, could have been that.
Maybe.
But yeah, there were tragedies in that lake right behind the apartment. And one of them happened while I was living there. I remember the cops were there. There was helicopters. There was boats like
in the water
to see if they could find the body, and they couldn't.
They never did. That's crazy.
So
dude.
Of course they were able to come up with the not solution to the answer that they had been sucked in by that filtration system. And it's like, well, you can't really blame like the owners or whatever, because there's clear signs like they're breaking the law, they're breaking the rules. You can't swim there. Some people would go and fish. I would always see people fishing.
Yeah.
I don't know if there were fish there.
I don't know.
But yeah, like it was prohibited to swim there or even to get in the water.
Yeah.
But yeah, quite a few people died there. That apartment, yeah, a lot of people experienced a lot of shit in that
apartment.
Yeah. The one thing también, when my son was first born, I would be breastfeeding him and he would always stare into one side of, like, into a corner en arriba del cuarto.
Yeah.
He would just stare into it. And no movía la mirada de ahí. But he would smile when he would do it, so I always felt like he would like see an angel. That's how I saw it. Like he maybe saw mine or his guardian angel that would like be looking after us, because he wouldn't get scared, he wouldn't cry, he would always stare into it. So I never felt scared. At first I did, because the very first time he did it, he had no facial expression. Like he was just feeding, so he was just like and just like looking at the corner. Stop it. Stop it. Go to sleep or look that way. But he wouldn't. And I would try. I would move his head like a little bit. He like, as I was tilting it, it would move, and then he would just straight back. He'd be like, stop it. Because I already, at that point, I already knew everything that everyone had felt. So I would get spooked. And then after that, he kept doing it, but then he would smile. He'd be like, like he would get that, like, you know? So I'd be like, so it'd be like, okay, it's not bad then. But yeah, he would do that too. Yeah. So that apartment was something else. But again, did I feel anything? Did I experience anything? Not once.
Yeah.
Not once.
That's wild. Nowhere ever. That's crazy.
And we lived there a good like 5-6 years, maybe more. Ain't nada.
Yeah.
And like I said, I would be there alone a lot. I mean, because like when I would come home from school, my mom was still working. I would come home and I'd be alone for like 2-3 hours until she would come home. Nothing. When she would go out like on the weekends, era catequista, so she would leave really early to go to class. Nothing. When she would go like do her Zumba classes, because my mom is a very active person. She always has something going on. She has such a busy schedule, so she wasn't home a lot because she had a lot going on. And at the time I was a teenager, so I hated everything and everyone, so I was like, fuck this shit, I'm gonna just stay in my room. So I was home a lot.
Nothing. And
it's not like I felt scared. Nothing.
That's crazy.
I'm telling you, like, I feel like I just always been protected, and I'm till this day very grateful for it. So sometimes I even tell Ellie, I'm like, maybe I was meant to see duendes and go through that whole experience so I could get that extra protection added on.
Because imagine if you didn't.
I'm telling you, I would have a heart attack. Because, dude, one time, my mom literally almost made me have a heart attack.
Why?
So, one of those... No, it wasn't one of those days. So, when we were in that 2-bedroom apartment, my son had just been born. And I think by that time, my mom had already experienced a really spooky night. And my son that night was crying so much, and he just would not go to sleep. And a lot of the things that had already happened, happened. And my son wouldn't sleep at all that night. And when he was like that, my mom would always like come and take him, because she would come grab him, like hug him, kind of like walk around the apartment. Within 2 minutes, he would be out. Like, Noah. But anyway, so she did that. She came in, grabbed Noah, and just like walked her. Like, she would just walk in circles in the living room. Bro, till this day, I was like, Mom, why would you do this to me? So I was already kind of on edge, because I was always like basically just waiting for me to hear something or see something. Because I was like, there's no way I'm never going to experience anything with everything everyone has experienced here. Like, if the energy is that heavy, it's just bound for me to see it. So I was always just like expecting it. So I was always on edge, especially when my son was born, because he was a colic baby. So we got no sleep. So I was already on edge because I had no sleep. And then I was just like waiting for something to happen. So at that time, it was like already 3 a.m., the hour of the witches. And our door was like cracked because my mom had came in and come out, and she just kind of like closed it, but not all the way. And then I remember I had just told my son's dad, I was like, one thing I think I could never like physically go through, because I would literally die, is doors opening and closing by themselves, like slowly, like in scary movies. I feel like I would just pass out and like die. I don't know why that's like so scary to me.
Yeah.
I kid you not, 5 minutes later after I say that, our door just goes, and I remember it was going so slow. My heart dropped to my fucking asshole. I stopped. I don't even remember what I was doing. I just froze in time, and I stared at it. And I was like, ain't no way. I could feel every color in my body leave. I felt like I got so pale. I was just like numb. I couldn't even move. Like, my heart was already in my asshole. Like, I was getting ready to like pass out and die. And then I just see my mom pop in. I was like, why would you? Who opens a door like that?
So slowly.
Literally. And everything was pitch black. The only thing that was on was our TV, but it was like where the door was, so the light was facing us. There was no light going towards the door,
Yeah.
And I remember I was just like, I was low-key like mad but relieved it was my mom. And I was like, why would you do that? So her thing was, she was carrying my son and she didn't want to make any noise, so she kind of just slowly pushed the door with her foot. And the way our room was set up, like where I was sitting, I could only see like half of the door and up, because half down was blocked by our dresser.
Gotcha.
And so had that not been blocked, I would have seen my mom's foot, but all that was blocked off, so I just saw that. But it was my mom. She was like slowly pushing it with her foot.
Oh my god.
To not make any noise and to not like move. And she didn't want to move her arms because she knew my son would wake up. And I was like, bro, you almost just literally killed your daughter. I think that's the closest I've ever come to having a heart attack. I was so scared.
That's crazy.
I wanted to cry. But sorry, just one more, because I got to put this one in there too. One that I think it's been the latest, maybe. Well, apart from what I experienced with you and Janet, because I felt like I didn't really experience it. I was kind of like a bystander, just kind of like, haha, she's not touching you. Was actually with Janet. Maybe Janet's the magnet.
Maybe.
Because, okay, it was my birthday like 3 years ago. So we have a thing where we are really into our birthday celebrations.
Yeah. And
we just love drinking for our birthdays. I feel like most people do. And so this particular birthday, I already had my son and we didn't really have anywhere to go. So it was Janet's idea to get a hotel room for just me and her. I think we had told you about it, but you were busy. Yeah. It was going to be the 3 of us, but you ended up not going. So it was just me and Janet. We got a hotel room because we just wanted to drink. Not have to worry about like now waking up my mom, now waking up her mom, obviously my son. So we got the hotel room. Bro, this story till this day like blows my fucking mind. So we got a hotel room. We get to the hotel. We had a late check-in. I think we didn't check in till like 9 p.m. So we go to the lobby, you know, procedure. They ask for your ID, they ask for your credit card to make sure everything's under the same name. They take copies, they put it in the system that you're checked in. You get the confirmation email. Like, it's a whole thing, right? And we received all of that, no issues. Janet got the confirmation email. She got the confirmation from her credit card that it was charged. Everything was good. We got our check-in stuff that they give you. They usually give you like a little pamphlet folded, and inside is keys. Inside are the keys. So we're like, okay, cool. We grab it. We go to the elevator. We go up because I think we were on like the third or fourth floor, something like that. So we go up. We find our room. We go inside. Everything's good. We start drinking. So we're already a little bit under the influence. So yes, I will say that we weren't in our 5 senses, but still, I don't think it takes away from the experience. So everything's good. And we were like, okay, you know, the whole reason why we got a hotel room is because we're going to pull an all-nighter. Like, we're just going to drink, have fun, not worry about making noise, whatever. So, like I said, we check in around maybe 9 p.m., anywhere between 8 or 9. And then I think it gets to like 10 o'clock. So only like an hour had passed. And I start feeling very scared. And again, I was already under the influence. I was already feeling it. And I just kept thinking really negative thoughts. We had a knife in the room because we had taken beers and we had limes. So we were going to like cut them and put the limes in their salt, you know. And it was like a switch. Like, everything was good. Everything was fun. And then it was like a switch. And I just felt very heavy, scared, negative. And I know it's going to sound crazy, but all I kept thinking was, I'm going to stab Janet. Like, I'm going to go to... And, like, I kept picturing in my head. I was like, I'm going to get up. And in my head, I was, like, talking out loud all the things I was going to do. It was so creepy. I'm going to get up. I'm going to go grab the knife. I'm going to grab the knife, turn around, look at Janet, walk towards Janet, and just start stabbing her. Like, that's what I was thinking. And then I was like, Dulce, what the fuck is going on? So I was like, no, that's not going to happen. Obviously, like, I'm not going to hurt her.
Right.
But that thought of hurting her and stabbing her was so strong. I got so fucking scared that I was actually going to do it. I told Janet, I was like, Janet, let's get on the bed right now and not move. Like, I literally told her that. I was like, let's get on the bed and not move. And she was like, why? What's wrong? I was like, just do it, please. Please. I'm the birthday girl. Just listen to me. This is what we need to do right now. And obviously, I did not tell Janet in the moment because, like I said, we were feeling it. I was not going to freak her out because I did think, I was like, what if I tell her and try to explain it? Like, dude, all like she's going to hear is this bitch is going to stab me. So I didn't tell her. So she finally agreed. We got on the bed. And I remember we started having like really bad cotton mouth. And we just kept talking to each other. And I was like, Janet, I'm like dying. I was like, where's the water? The water was, you know how every hotel room has like a desk? Yeah. So that's where we were initially. And that's where the knife was. That's where I was like, I need to get away from here. Let's go to the bed. So everything we had brought was over there. Bro. And I was like, I need water. I was like, but no, I cannot get near a knife. Because I kid you not, I felt it in my bones that if I got up, I was going to grab that knife and go straight for Janet. I know it's funny now, but in the moment I was so scared, and that thought was so negative and heavy. Like, it was scaring the shit out of me. And so I kept telling her, I was like, Janet, I have like really bad cotton mouth. I'm like dying. And so did she. And she was like, oh, the water's right there. Let me just go get it. I was like, Janet, you better not step a foot away from the like bed. I was so scared. And I kept telling her, and she'll tell you, like, I was freaked out. I was like, Janet, do not get off from the bed. And finally she was like, Dulce, like, and she talked to me the whole time. I remember her moving so slowly. She was like, look, I'm gonna get up. Look, I'm just gonna grab the water. Everything's okay. Look, it's okay. Like, she was trying to calm me down. And she finally gets and grabs it, and she was like, you see, everything was fine. I was like, okay, but do not get up again. Like, don't get up. And she was like, okay, like, it's fine, you're fine. But you could tell the energy shifted on both of us. Like, she wasn't right either.
Right.
But again, I hadn't told her anything. And then we drink the water. 30 minutes later, we knocked out. Like, we were out. And we were going to do a all-nighter. We lasted like an hour.
Bruh.
Anyway, we ended up falling asleep. And the whole time I was asleep, I kid you not, it sounded like right next door, like the room next door was having a full-on party. I heard music. I heard people walking up and down the hallway. I heard people talking, like full-on, like if I was right next to a club almost. Like, and I heard it loud as day. And I remember I was like, I can't sleep because of this, but I'm also not going to call the lobby and complain. Like, I'm not going to be that person. So I was like, just kind of like sleep through it is fine. That's why people get hotels sometimes, you know, they just want to have a good time. So I was like, okay, whatever. So the night finally passes. We wake up the next morning and we're finally like sober now. So I start telling Janet a little bit, you know, kind of like how I felt the night prior to that. And I told her, I think the first thing I asked her was, hey, like, you heard the party next door, right? Like, I wasn't tripping. She was like, dude, yes. They were so loud. Like, they were dancing. They were talking. You could hear people walking up and down the hallway. But she said the same thing. Like, she didn't want to complain or anything like that. She was just kind of, this damn spider web. She was just like, let's just sleep through it, whatever, you know? And I was like, right? Like, fuck, but whatever. Like, we ended up getting some hours of sleep. It's fine. And then I was like, let me just tell her. Because, like, it's the next day. I wasn't having those negative thoughts anymore. I was like, it's fine. I was like, Janet, like, don't get spooked. Of course, I would never do it. But, like, kind of, like, let me tell you what I was, like, feeling and thinking last night. I was like, the reason why I was so spooked and I wanted us to come to the bed is because I was, like, sure that I was going to stab you. She was just kind of like, what the fuck? I was like, yeah, like, I just kept having these, like, very, like, aggressive thoughts of just someone being hurt. And it was specifically, like, I just really felt like I was gonna stab you. Almost like como que tenía las ganas de hacerlo. It was so weird. And she was like, she stayed so quiet. And she goes, you know, I was kind of thinking the same thing. I was like, bitch, what?
What the fuck?
I was like, what do you mean? Like, you wanted to stab me too? She was like, not specifically stabbed, but I also could not shake it out of my head that someone was going to get hurt. I just kept thinking someone's going to get hurt. Someone's going to get hurt. I was like, bitch, shut up. No, you weren't. She was like, yeah, that's why, like, my mood changed so quickly. I was like, me too.
Bro.
As we're talking about this, the TV turns on by itself. And we were sitting, okay, so like the TV, it's on the right side of the room, and we were all the way on the left side by the restroom because we were using the mirrors because we were doing our makeup, and the TV just fucking turns on as we're talking about that. And we're like, fucking stop, dude. We look at each other and we're like, did you sit on the remote? You know, like, did we press it by accident? So we get up, start looking for the remote. The remote is sitting flat face up on the desk.
Bro, what the fuck?
And, like, I got goosebumps, and I was like, okay, like, fuck this shit. Grab the remote, turn it off, right? So we're like, okay, like, whatever, you know, let's just, whatever. So then we sit back down. We keep doing our makeup. Our door opens, and there's a guy there. Like, a guy came into the room with his suitcases and everything. He opens the door. Me and her kind of freeze. We look at each other. We look at him. He looks at us. And we're like, what the fuck? And the guy's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't know anybody was in here. This is my room. Me and Janet were like, what do you mean? Like, this is our room. He goes, no, look, I have the key to get in. Me and Janet were like, us too. And he goes, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know what's going on. Let me go back down to the lobby and, like, figure this out. We were like, okay. So he closes the door. Janet gets up really quick and puts on both locks because, you know, usually they have two locks, which we swear up and down we did the night prior to that. Anyway, so he leaves and he goes to the lobby. The lobby calls us. And we're like, hello. And they're like, oh, hi. Like, we're calling you from the lobby. We're just trying to figure out, like, what is going on. Like, this is not typical for it to happen. 2 people should not have an access key. Blah, 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 blah. And I think at that time it was like 9 a.m. And, checkout is at like 11.
Right.
So she was like, are you guys getting ready to check out? We were like, yeah, we're just finishing up our makeup. We're about to go down to the lobby. She's like, okay, like, we'll talk more when you come down. We were like, okay, cool. So then we get all of our stuff ready. We head down to the lobby to check out. Like, we had everything with us. We get down to the lobby and we're like, yeah, so like this guy walked in on us. Like, what is going on? The lady goes, well, I don't understand how you guys are in that room. It shows it wasn't the same lady that checked us in. It was a different lady because, we went in at night. Now it was like 12 hours later.
Right.
So it was a different lady. And she goes, well, this is weird. It shows in our system that room is vacant. She goes, did you guys check in last night? Me and Janet were like, yes. And she goes, okay, like maybe the girl that was here last night didn't fully do it. Let me like check again. She goes, yeah, no, that room should be vacant. You guys never checked in. We were like, yes, we did. You took copies of our IDs. And then even Janet, like, she pulled out her email.
Yeah.
She was like, look, it's a confirmation. And I think she even pulled up her bank account. She was like, I was charged. Like, we checked in. When I tell you that desk lady was so fucking confused, she goes, this has never happened, like, ever. You have a confirmation. You were charged. So you checked in. Our system shows that room is completely empty, vacant. So that's why we gave the other guy a key. And she goes, but the weirdest part about this whole thing is that you guys have a key. Because she even asked us, do you have a key though? We were like, yeah, look, right here. We're turning it in. And she goes, that is so weird because our system, the way it works, when we give those keys to, the people checking in, the system automatically locks that room because it's telling us that there's already an access key out there. So we are not going to give 2 different people the same access key. So she was like, and she was like, and you were able to use it to get in? We were like, yes, we were here all night, like, and she goes, that's literally impossible. And she goes, I think she told us she has been working in that hotel or in that industry for like 13 years, some crazy big number like that. And she was like, I have never seen this happen before. She's like, our system automatically locks out that room, that we can't make another key unless we manually put that you lost the key, so we're giving you a replacement. She's like, and I've been the only one here this morning. I'm the one that checked that guy in, and the system didn't tell me that anyone else had a key for that room.
Bro, that's crazy.
Me and Jenny were like, there's something wrong with that room. And then not only that, but I forgot to say, as we were coming out of the room, we were like, okay, let's check what room number was making all this like commotion last night, because they were having a party. We get out of the room. We go to one side. There's nothing there. I don't know if you can like envision how hallways are in hotels. They're really long. And in the middle, there's a break. And it's just like windows on both sides.
Yeah.
We were in the room right next to a window. So on one side, we had there's nothing there. So we're like, okay, there's probably on the other room. Like on the other side, we walk a little bit to the other side. It's a maintenance closet. So you may think, oh, past that was another break. Like there was nothing, like it was just literally like, or maybe we were right next to the elevator, but there was nothing around us. And it was not the ones in front of us. It wasn't across the hallway. Like we heard it clear as day, like if our walls were connected. So it was like the room right next to us. There was no room on either side.
Bro, that's wild. That's creepy.
I think that's the most like prominent like paranormal I've ever experienced, more than anything because of how dark it was. Like we could tell that room had some like heavy negative energy. Like I'm telling you, I was getting ready to to grab that knife and just go to town, I guess. I don't know, it was crazy. And then another crazy part of that, I told my son's dad about it, and he loves a lot of paranormal stuff, which makes no sense because he got really scared in that apartment. But like he loves that stuff, and I told him, and he was like, oh, tell me what hotel it is and what room, like maybe I can get it. So I told him the hotel, and he goes, no fucking way. I was like, yeah, why? He was like, this one. And we like looked it up on maps. He was like, no fucking way. I was like, bro, what? Apparently the hotel where it is, it's right next to a huge lot that's a tire shop. And it's huge because they have all sorts of tires. Like they have big old tractor tires that are like taller than me when they're laying down.
Okay.
My son's dad's best friend works there. He told me that not that long ago, his friend had told him that they were looking at the cameras during the night because things kept getting moved around. So they were like, is someone coming in? Do we need to like get extra security? Like, what is going on? So they were going through the cameras. They saw a little girl in a white dress walking around the lot. And that lot is like literally right next to the hotel. Like if you look out the hotel window, it's the lot. Like there's nothing dividing them. I was like, get the fuck out of town, bro.
What the fuck? Hell no.
Sorry, that was a really long story, but I feel like I always gotta go into detail because it's so fucking crazy.
It is crazy.
Anyway,
bro.
Till this day, that's been the craziest shit that has ever happened to me because probably is like the only thing that has happened to me besides the duendes when I was 4 years old. But
hell no.
Me and Janet, like every time we talk about it, we like even get goosebumps and we're like, dude, fuck that shit. Cause what the
low-key kind of glad I didn't get to go.
Right? Because imagine the three of us. I don't know. We
would have been.
And I feel like that's when you were like less in tune with yourself. So I feel like you would have been hella
freaked
spooked.
out. Yeah.
Like probably crying. When I tell you the energy in there was bad, like Janet had to calm me down so many times. She's like, Dulce, we're okay. You don't know how many times she told me you're okay. Like, we're okay. I was like, no, Janet, we're not. And it was funny because we kept contemplating to call your other sister. Christy? We're like, what if we call Christy right now? Like, she'll come and she'll help us. It's fine. And Janet was like, I think it was Janet or me. I don't know. But like we kept going back and forth. We were like, no, because she's so far away. Because she lived like all the way out in Katy. Yeah. It would have been like a hour drive. Just literally to calm our crazy asses down. And we were like, we weren't in our 5 senses. She probably would have been like, it's because you aren't sober. Like you're fine. But no, we were freaking out. And I remember it was like, I even dialed 911. I put 911 and I was getting ready to like hit call. And I remember just leaving my phone like that on the bed with 911 because I was like, if something happened, I can just put call. Because I was just ready for something to happen. I didn't know what, but I just like, you know, when you just feel it. Yeah. I was like, something's gonna, like, I just did not have a good gut feeling. Yeah. And the crazy thing is, my gut feeling, I feel like is really good. But I've never had one that strong for anything in my life.
That's wild, bro.
But yeah, we were like, let's go, Christy. And then we're like, no, we're gonna freak her out. And she's like asleep with her kids. Like, no, we're fine. Like, we're fine. And then we would fall asleep. And then we were in and out too. And then we would like fall asleep. And then we would wake back up and be like, oh my God, we're gonna die. It's like, no, it's fine. Let's call Christy. No, it's fine. Go back to sleep. Wake back up. We're gonna fucking kill each other. It was like, it was crazy. It was such a exhausting fucking night. And all of that happened within like an hour and a half.
Bro, that's freaking crazy. Like, it happened as soon as y'all got there, basically. As
soon as we stepped foot. Well, maybe like 15 minutes later.
Because like normally it takes like a few hours. Usually you feel like it. Usually you get settled in. Yeah. And you're okay. But then after a while, that's whenever it starts getting in.
And the crazy part is, I think this is what freaked out Janet the most. It was like a switch because I'm the one that felt it first. Like I'm telling you, like, you know how we are. Estábamos a carcajada abierta. Like we were laughing so fucking hard. What I think scared Janet the most, because like it was literally like a switch, because like we were just like cracking jokes, having a great time. We were like, let's keep drinking, like we're good. And then it's like it just fell on me, and I was just like, Janet, we need to go to the bed. Like, literally like that. Like, wouldn't that freak you out? I'm like, yeah, Ellie. And, like, that shit was so funny. And, like, let's keep drinking. Ellie, let's go to the bed right now. Please. Please.
Like, I was so confused. And, like, I'm not touching you.
Literally like that.
Bro.
Like, laughing.
Like,
and
then just second.
Yeah, and you're like, this ain't right. No. And then the vibe was never the same again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Janet told me that's what freaked her out the most, the way I switched and how fast I switched.
Bro, that's crazy.
But it's like I couldn't help it. That shit was like, but yeah, so that's been like the craziest shit I have ever experienced. But happy Halloween! Ooh.
Happy Halloween! Happy spooky season.
That's a little bit of our story. Yeah, that story, I'm sorry. I just feel like I gotta go in detail because it's fucking crazy. I know, because I've told this story to so many people because it's fucking crazy. And some people have told me, they're like, nah, like, you're exaggerating. It didn't happen like that. Like, if anything, I'm downplaying it because y'all can't feel the emotions I was feeling. Y'all can't feel this, like, the thoughts and, like, the heaviness. It felt like something was on my shoulders. Like, I just felt so fucking heavy and, like, borderline evil. Like, it was just, I mean, I'm sure whatever presence was there was evil, but, like, for me to feel the evil, it was just, and the fact that I've never felt anything my whole life, that was the crazy part to me.
Yeah.
The fact that I had never felt anything. Like, I know I'm not prone to it. And then I felt it that heavy. That's what freaked me out. Yeah. I was like, I'm not experiencing this. What the fuck? I'm going to stab Janet. But, yeah. So.
That's wild.
Those are our stories.
Those are our spooky stories.
Some.
Well,
at least for me, all. Some for Ellie. And just barely even scratching the surface on our family. If y'all are interested, we can definitely do another one to speak more on my mom, like things that she has experienced, and your my dad for sure.
Because things that he's gone through is ridiculous.
We would definitely love to have an episode where we actually feature him so he could tell it, because obviously they experienced it. They can tell it so much better. Yeah. So we may do that. We may do our segment, even if it's not Halloween. Who does not love a good
spooky story? Spooky story.
I heard that.
Y'all get what I'm trying to say.
We get the gist of it.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good note to end it on, because like I said, I have been going on for a fat fucking minute. Sorry.
We both have. It's okay.
But yeah, again, happy fucking Halloween, bitches.
Happy Halloween. Oh my gosh, we should watch the movie. Do you remember? Was it called Halloween?
Halloween Town?
There you go. Halloween Town. We should watch that movie.
A lot of old school Halloween movies, the Disney, they just hit different. Halloween Town, Twitches.
Oh my gosh, we should watch Twitches.
There's just so many. They're so good. But for sure, if y'all got some good Halloween movies to recommend, let us know. Not too scary. Are you a fan of horror movies?
I like paranormal movies, even though I get like freaked the fuck out afterwards and I can't sleep for like a day or two. And I take my dog with me. So I'm like, if I can't sleep, I'm going to take you with me. Yeah. But yes, I'll still watch them.
Maybe we'll do a little... Just a little bit. Maybe we'll do a little segment on spooky movies.
I've had a whole marathon on The Conjuring and the Annabelle movies.
Those are so good, dude.
They are good.
So good.
I made Janet watch them with me, especially the Annabelle ones. She hates dolls, by the way.
Yeah, those hit different for people that obviously don't like dolls. Yeah.
Bro. My mom's dolls. Freaky.
She used to be a collector of porcelain dolls.
Yeah, and she, for like the longest time, after she stopped putting them up, she had them in her closet. That is whenever I used to sleep in her room. So sometimes I would have my basically share a closet with her too. Whenever I used to have to go and get my clothes, I used to like run out of there. And I used to keep an eye on those dolls to make sure that they weren't moving.
Watching you. Because that's so funny.
I was terrified that they would move.
Imagine. No, thank you. I'm out. Let's burn the house down, because no.
Yeah, no. But yeah, so we'll end it there. And then we'll pick up on these spooky stories another time. Yes. And we'll give y'all some more spooky stories.
Yes. And we know that for sure. We've said it, that we're more active on social media. And honestly, we have not. Let's be honest. But This time around, we are so active on social media. We do quite a few shorts and reels on so many different things. So make sure you follow us so you don't miss any updates.
Yes, we do have quite a few shorts and reels coming up. So I'm excited.
Yes, me too. And just like you probably already know, but just as a reminder, we are no longer the Puff Lounge. We are now Soul Sisters Lounge. Yes, but you can find us, the podcast specifically, Soul Sisters Podcast. Right. Yes. But on socials, we are Soul Sisters Lounge. I know it can be a little confusing. We're sorry about that. But, you know, podcast, just podcast. Everything else is Soul Sister Lounge. But yeah, find us on all socials.
And then we'll go into detail some other time about the difference between the lounge and the podcast. But so stay tuned for that part too.
Yes.
And as always, you can always find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube now.
Yes.
So we hope to see y'all here next time.
Bye.